Kia ora koutou, I'm Michael Fletcher and I have the role of principal at Chaucer School here in Tamaki Makaurau in our incredible country of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Here are 3 PFs, 3 principal firsts. Hang on a minute, this is clip number 50, right? Yeah, that's right. Well, aren't you going to do something different, something special? Like what? I don't know, dress up in a onesie? Plait your beard? Look, I take my role as a principal very seriously and I'm not really into that kind of stuff, to be honest. Okay. Having said that, you might want to keep watching. First, number 1. My first leadership team strategic planning day. Now, I'd been part of many strategic planning days at my previous schools in my previous roles, and I had been privileged and lucky to be part of some really rich, robust, thorough days that really actively contributed to moving the school forward. The team at that time consisted of 5 other people, and one member of the team had also applied for my position. Now, I'd done a lot of prep for the day on my own, obviously, and I was feeling ready. Post-it notes? Check. Large pieces of paper? Check. A range of types and colours of pens? Check.
A carefully selected collection of inspirational quotes up on the wall?
Check.
A life-sized paper cutout of a Chaucer Year 6 student ready for us to write on?
Check. I was so ready. The 5 members of the team came in wearing serious faces and displaying some interesting body language. So I reminded them of the plan for the day and I started on the first item. But I was met with a combination of and then one member of the team said, "How can we be expected to focus on this when what we really need to be talking about and discussing is..." And then I was faced with a combination of historical gripes and issues, personal agendas surfaced, personal attacks on me, behaviour incident that had occurred earlier in that week, and in the background, the team member who'd applied for my job and was unsuccessful was eagerly stoking the flames. That night, I didn't get much sleep. Was the day a complete disaster? Initially, my thoughts were, absolutely. But later, when I'd had some time to reflect, what I realised that the day had actually taught me was the importance of building mutual trust and proactively working on connecting as a team and strengthening whanaungatanga.
First, number 2, my first speech. So I was out at Mangati, which is about 30-40 k's out of Timaru. In the mid-90s, it was my very first speech in my first role as a principal. We had 17 kids at the school, so I was a teaching principal, and the whole community came. So it was the end of year speech, end of year prize giving. The whole community came to the hall, and it was a really important thing. So I spent all week making sure that my speech was just absolutely brilliant, and that it, thanked everybody and thanked the whole community. And I wrote it down, and so the big day came, and I arrived at the hall, and the kids did everything that they were meant to do, which was great show. And then I got up there, put my hand into my pocket to pull out my speech, and it wasn't there. And I thought, oh no, it's in my office, which is about 5 minutes down the road. So I had to do the speech, and I had to ad-lib it. And I balls it up really, but what could I do? So from that point on, I always do 3 copies of speeches. One which I put in my pocket, one which I put into the glove compartment of my car, and one that I give to a trusted staff member just in case I forget it. So that's it. That was my very first speech.
First, number 3. I was sitting at my new desk in my new swivelly principal chair alongside the school secretary when there was a knock on the door. A little girl came into the room and she walked straight up to me. I said hello, but she didn't say anything in return. She just pushed out her hand and there was a piece of paper in it. So I took the bit of paper and right then she turned and boosted it out. She'd done her job. So I flipped the paper over on the desk and had a look. It had a stick figure on it, which was a pretty good stick figure and quite accurate, and some squiggles, which I couldn't understand. I didn't read 5-year-old at that stage, but luckily the school secretary was much more experienced than me, and she nutted it out. And what the word said was, "You're the best principal in the whole world." That actually blew me away. I mean, aside from the fact that I was clearly not the best principal in the world, I didn't know this wee girl, and she didn't know me. We never met each other, but she knew that I was her principal, and that mattered to her. That mattered a lot. And right at that moment, I had that, I don't know, not a feeling of responsibility maybe then, I've got that now, but a sense of this job mattering. I've never forgotten that.
A huge thank you to Steve Zonneville and Dave Armstrong for agreeing to contribute their principal firsts and doing such an amazing job. As I'm sure many of you know, Steve and Dave are principals down in the South Island, and they are the authors of this fantastic book, The 40-Hour Principal. They also have a website, 40hourprincipal.com, which includes their awesome blog, which they post to regularly. I highly recommend that. They also have a Facebook page. Check that out as well. Thank you for watching clip number 50. When I first started making these clips last year, my thinking was, well, if I can make one principal colleague smile and one principal colleague pause for thought, I'd be happy. I seem to have achieved that, and some, so I'm going to keep making these clips for a little while longer. If you want to share any of your principal firsts, drop me an email. Remember, keep being kind to yourself. Ka kite anō.